The Miami Heat came into the weekend still a pretty hot team. Lost in Utah. They wanted to get it back on track in Los Angeles, could not do it. Kobe Bryant, Andrew Bynum, and the Lakers put away Miami. Was this a big deal game?
Well, definitely a big deal for the Lakers because they needed a big win. And then give Kobe Bryant a lot of credit, and he should now be mentioned with Kevin Durant and LeBron James in the MVP race. Kobe set the tone in the first quarter, 18 points. And then we talked about, JB and Chris, how the Lakers had to be physical, tough, inside to win the game. And they got a great performance from Bynum and Gasol and Meta World Peace.
Yeah, the blueprint for beating the Heat is to pound them inside. They're small. Joel Anthony Udonis has them. Even Chris Bosh, when he's there, he didn't play today. But few teams in the league have the personnel to do it. The Lakers are one of those teams. And even though Gasol didn't have huge numbers, his size still was a factor. Bynum obviously was big. And if you can get this type of play from Meta World Peace, then you don't need a Michael Beasley or somebody like that.
Way back machine. But, you know, the more I watch the Lakers, the more impressed I am defensively.
Yeah.
You know, 37% shooting for the Miami Heat. This is one of the highest scoring teams in the league. They held them down in the 80s. They're very, very impressive. But Kobe Bryant set the tone. And it was all about the payback. What were they going to do with the broken nose? And he just did it with his play. He didn't have to say anything. He put this team on the back. And Magic, you said as we're sitting watching this thing, when he gets off to that kind of start, it just eases the pressure off Steve Blake for shooting the basketball and Powell and Bynum. It just makes life so much easier. And I just love Powell being that enforcer, going right at LeBron's face, got right in his face at the end of the third quarter, and said, "You can't mess with my man."
You know, this is sort of the NBA's own version of March Madness. You got all the trade talk, which has bothered guys. Let's face it, not just Rajon Rondo, who we saw earlier in the afternoon, but Pau Gasol days before that. Irvin, how do you handle this? I mean, these are dog days for the NBA because you got a long way to go before the playoffs begin. How many big victories can you have? Or is this one, like you mentioned, a signature victory the Lakers needed? Is this it?
This is it right here. When you beat a team like the Heat, who we all think who's going to win the championship, sometime a big win can get you going in terms of help you close out the season. Right now, they're only a game behind the Clippers for the division.
That's an
you know, and so we have to remember that the Lakers are right there. And we're not saying a big trade that they need. I still think the Lakers need a little trade because they still need help off that bench. And if they can get a little trade, some guy that can help them off the bench, the Lakers will be right there in terms of challenging Oklahoma for the Western Conference.
Well, how about the Heat, though? This was a lackluster energy. I mean, look, you talk 5 free throws between Dwyane Wade and LeBron James taken. 5 free throws. Wade fouls out, 2 really bad fouls. LeBron James didn't have the energy. He took 26 shots to get 25 points. Credit World Medal Peace or whatever his name is that he did a nice job. But that was a you mentioned something about the Utah game, the way they lost that game. LeBron James passed up the shot.
Carryover.
Lingering effect. We saw a
all-star game. They have not come back the same way they ended the first half of the season.
If this bothers them, then there's something to worry about in Miami. I mean, because
they went through this last year. They went through it last year. They said they were going to avoid it this year. So far, the Miami Heat haven't. We got a long way to go. It's a nice way to kick off March.